What's poppin', BrarHive? It's your boy Matab Brar, the guy who went viral on TikTok for one TikTok and just never lived up to the hype again. Hey, Matab here. Fuck Jay Sean. Back to the video. Today we have somebody who is actually good at TikTok and is personally one of my favorite TikTokers of all time. Mr. Max Emerson Taylor. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Just introduce yourself. Tell them what you do.
Well, my name is Max Emerson Taylor. I make videos on the internet. I like to do a little politics on the side, and hopefully I'll do some charity work coming up soon. We're gonna hear about that soon too, hopefully.
Ooh, that'll be fun. All right, so first off, uh, TikTok. You've blown up a lot, and I've seen a lot of popular creators like David Dobrik and Noel Miller give you a lot of credit for some of this stuff. Tell me about that. Like, how did this whole thing start, and how did it go from just you just running with a little glass of milk for a mile, all the way to David Dobrik and Noel Miller talking about your rapping skills and stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting process, man. I mean, like I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia right now, and I was in Toronto for a little while, and I came back initially just to help my mom move into a new place that she was moving into in Halifax. And then the whole quarantine thing started. This just the beginning of COVID, and I guess I was just kind of going insane. I needed to do something creatively, so I was making some videos for my just some of my buddies, and it just so happened that some of the videos I made for my buddies took off, right? And when that started to happen, when the milk thing took off, I said, wait a second, I have all these ideas that I was going to do for stand-up comedy. And I tried stand-up once. I was so bad at it. I'm like, let's just use these ideas to make videos online and see how they go. And luckily for me, I got recognized by some people, which gave me a big boost in the beginning. And I've been living off that boost ever since.
So you just stand up for a while too?
I tried it, and it was so. I guess like stand up is one of those things you have to get better and better at. And
Yeah.
I did it once right before like the news of COVID actually broke out. So maybe I would have done it more times, but that initial one time was so bad. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's something I'm proud of.
Yeah, I fully understand that. Like, I do stand up as well, and like, my first show was like beginning of January, last year.
Yeah,
It went like, in retrospect, it was trash, but like, in the moment, I'm like, this was amazing, and then I kept using the
yeah,
exact same set for the next 2 or 3 shows I did before COVID ended the world. But yeah, stand up's like really, it's really like specific because you have to be like, it's like an art. You have to like train each time,
yeah.
get
You really
better.
have to get your reps in. You really have to like practice and practice, and then I mean, maybe if COVID didn't happen, I'd be mediocre now. But it's something that you see people who have done it for a long time, and you see compare that with their first couple tries doing it. It's a completely different story. Like it is like working out. You just got to get your reps in over and over again, and then apparently, like eventually, you just start to get comfortable on stage, and that's what makes the difference. Yeah.
You're gonna go back soon, like once everything's back to normal.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's a tough thing to call right now. I mean, I'm just trying to figure it all out as we go along, right? I mean, it's so weird to make any sort of plan right now because who knows what the fuck's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, and like we were just talking beforehand, like we're gonna be here for like probably another year.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like,
I really do think it's gonna be another year. And I mean, all that being said, it's so there's no point in even making a plan. I don't think because just right now, I just got to ride the wave, see how it goes.
yeah, like my buddy sent me a message yesterday saying, "Hey, you guys want to go to Tokyo in uh like October when COVID ends?" I'm like, COVID's never gonna end, man. It's not gonna end that fast. It's
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be
it's weird.
anytime soon. I mean, I hope it does, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your first video of yours that blew up? It was a milk one, right?
Yes, that's the one that kind of took the initial flight and the whole thing. And I mean, when that started to go big, I was like, okay, I'll make some more videos. And I was talking to my friend. I was like, can you imagine if David Dobrik saw this just as a joke, right? Like, at the time, I was never really like I didn't really know anything about the internet culture. Like I didn't really watch anybody's videos. I just kind of said it in passing. And then an hour later, he did, and I was like, "Whoa, that's what a weird thing." Like, so there's something to be said for speaking it into existence. That I don't really buy that whole manifesting thing, but I mean, sometimes it just happens, and you go, "Wow, interesting." So I mean, that was kind of the initial launch. And then I just had some other videos, some ideas. And my biggest problem, I think, with the TikTok is I mean, there's a lot of trends. Like if you do the same thing over and over again, people will follow you for that one thing.
Yeah.
It's like you see a lot of people like growing to like 2 million, 3 million followers, like in the span of a couple of weeks because they're doing the same thing over and over again. And I was going to do that with the challenges initially, but I don't know, man. It's kind of like when I don't like something, it stops being fun for me to do. So I did a couple challenges, then I stopped liking it. I was like, let's fucking transition to the next thing. And I kept transitioning. And I mean, that's why some months I'll be really slow with growth and some months I'll be really big with growth. Just because I think it's important for me creatively to just always change it up. And but it's a complicated world, the online scene, man. It
Yeah,
really is a complicated thing.
I fully understand that. Like like on TikTok, I see like a lot of those like TikTok gurus are always like, you gotta do the same thing over and over again, go with the same niche over again and over again.
Yeah.
But me, like, I've been like in the creative kind of space ever since like I was 7, and I I personally I can't make the same type of videos over and over again, because for me I'm like I am because I'm not making this stuff for other people. I'm making this stuff for myself. If
Yeah.
if I and like you probably understand this. Like if you don't like what you're making, then what's the point of making it, right?
No, exactly. I think it's the same sort of thing, right? It's like I think the way I like to look at it is you see a guy like, Jason Statham, you know who Jason
Yeah,
Statham is? So Jason Statham is like he's the same guy in every movie, right? And people know him as that guy, right?
the
So if he's
big
in another
Hulk
movie,
dude, always
yeah,
mad.
he's gonna be like always mad, always like, wow, he took my kid. You know what I mean? Like he's always gonna be mad at something, and that's his role, and he'll play that, right? And he's probably making way more money than a guy like you probably never even heard of a guy named Tim Robinson. He's like my idol, man. He's like this guy
I trust.
who
I know
makes
him.
like, yeah, Tim Robinson. He's my idol, man. He does different things every time. I mean, generally like a similar style at all of his things, but he does a lot of different things. And even though Jason Statham's going to be the one to get super, super wealthy, he has a niche and he's exploiting his niche and he's doing an amazing job in that field. There's two routes you can go. One of them is like, okay, I'm going to use this as a landing. Excuse me, I'm going to use this as a landing, like a landing pad to go to my next thing. Or you can say, wow, this is working. I'm going to keep doing this. And both are formidable, right?
Yeah,
You can do both of those things, but it just depends on the person, man. Like I can't do the thing where you just do it over and over again because I don't. Maybe I just don't have the attention span to keep doing it. So I need to keep changing. But if people can do that, by all means, I'm not knocking those people at
yeah,
all. It's just not something I'm capable of. You know?
yeah. I think that's kind of reason like why my TikToks like some of them will go crazy good, but then some of them will just go like 100 views.
Yeah,
Because like if I'll follow a trend, if I do a couple of them in a row, then maybe I'll hit like 10, 15K.
yeah,
And then like so I had a video that went like pretty viral like beginning of this month. It was like my first video to hit 1 million. And just my mom throwing a bowl at me. Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and like that video went everywhere. And then like I noticed like as soon as I hit that video went good, a few other videos started popping off a little bit.
yeah,
But now, like let's say I just put up a video like I think I put one up yesterday. Right now, that video has 157 views. Like let me put my thing down now.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah. You see, you never know.
yeah,
You
like
never know how you're gonna do it.
yeah, like yeah,
It's
because
an interesting. It's like because you probably the same sort of creative thing. Like you need to change it up, right?
yeah,
But I think the way I mean, obviously, there's a lot of merit to doing it over and over again because that's honestly like they'll get dry and go to the next thing.
yeah,
But my explanation that I always keep telling myself is, okay, If someone sees me on the street and recognizes me, I don't want them to say, "That's the guy that does the thing with the milk." I want them to be like, "Oh, there's Max." You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
an ego thing. I know it's like a ridiculous thing, but it's
Oh,
like
I
I
fully
want to be known for
understand.
a collection of work and not just one thing over and over again. You know?
Yeah, it's like you look at who's an ultra famous. Oh yeah, so like The Rock. Okay,
Yeah,
I think The Rock is like the best at this kind of thing. Because first he was just known as, oh, he's a WWE guy. He just goes and throws people through tables. But
yeah,
then he went and did Scorpion King. Then he did like all these other movies. Now he's just known as
yeah.
Dwayne Johnson, not just The Rock.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's an exactly, and like he's. You see, I think he's a bit of an anomaly because it's kind of like he does a similar thing that Jason Statham, where he plays the same kind of character, but there's like a look in his eyes where he's really like enjoying it, right?
Yeah,
And like he has this
he's
look
like
that's like,
into
I
it.
know what I'm doing, but like even in his personal life, that's just who he is. He's a guy who loves getting massive. He likes working out like crazy. He likes doing all the motivational stuff that he does, and that's what he likes to do. A lot of the people who do the same thing over and over again, you can tell they just don't like it. Like the people in the show Glee, right?
Yeah,
Like a lot of people came out and they're like, "Wow, like I hated doing that. I made a lot of money, but now I can never do anything ever again with my life because people will always see me as this one guy from Glee." So it's a hard thing, right? And I think at this age, there's no problem with diversifying and seeing what happens. I mean, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen in a year? Like no one can tell.
yeah. Like I feel like with the internet culture and everything changes so fast. You can literally go from like, because some people like can go from like unknown to like worldwide sensation in like a day now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, but the thing is, yeah, like you said, what you want to be known for. Like
Yeah,
I'm trying to become a filmmaker. That's like a filmmaker, entertainer. That's like what I've been trying to do since I was 7 years old.
yeah,
And I'm making TikToks. I, so even now I make TikToks just for shits. I'm not trying to like if I get big, sure, but I'm not gonna get big doing challenges and stuff for stuff I don't like.
yeah, a
I'm
hundred
just trying.
percent.
I'm just trying to enjoy what I make. Like even all the
Yeah,
YouTube videos I make. Like my friends are like, dude, why do you make stuff like this? I'm like, because it's fun for me. It's like, look at this trend here.
exactly.
Like my friends are like, hey man, see this guy here? He's doing this. You should just copy him. I'm like, but that's not fun for me. That's not my style.
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting thing. It's like someone said this to me once, and I can't remember who, so I feel bad. So, but at the same time, it's like someone said to me once, they're like, I was getting down on myself. I'm like, I was making a bunch of videos that had like over a million, and like on a week in a row, I had like 7 videos over a million. Like each one had a ton of views. And I was like, man, then the next five that I made that I liked, nobody really watched them that much. And I was like, man, what's going on? Like, I
Yes.
need to, I need to start getting back into it. Like, I got to start doing the same style. And this guy says to me, I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was my dad. It was some old man. Maybe it was my friend's dad. I don't know. Some guy who's older and wiser than I am. He's like, well, do you like doing it? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, do you think they're funny? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, are they hurting anybody? Are they offensive to anybody? And I was like, no. And he goes, then why do you give a shit? Just keep making them. Who the hell cares? If anybody watches them, that's great. But you should be making them right now just because you enjoy them.
Yeah.
And if you don't enjoy them, people are going to notice. And that's the big thing, right? Like, you kind of got to do, if you're not hurting anybody and it's fun to do, and you're having a good time doing it, there's really no reason to not do it, right? And
Yeah.
that's just it. I mean, yeah, you might look like an idiot, but who cares, right? People look like idiots all the time. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, the main thing is like, do you feel happy doing what you're doing?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as long as I can keep the lights on, that's
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
If you can support yourself and you're happy doing what you're doing, go do whatever the hell you want, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I'll ask you, as a small TikToker who just hit 20,000 after two, after, yeah, more than 2 years on the app, I just hit 20,000 now. How do I go big?
It's tough. I think the best way to do it is kind of like say, there's two things. Number one is find people who you want to be like in terms of like if, for mine it was like Tim Robinson. Like I wanted to do like I love Tim Robinson, so I just studied him. Like so I literally spent hours a day. Not even like I'd laugh obviously, but not even just for the entertainment things. It'd be like, how does this work? Like why do I think this is funny? And I'm not doing it as much anymore, but I would study it like every day. Be like, okay, why do I think it's funny, like blah blah blah. And then, oh my God, yeah, I would study him all the time. And yeah, find people to idolize. And the second thing, wait, sorry, did I cut out?
Yeah, it cut out for like a second, but you're good. You're good.
Did I cut out? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. And the second thing is like, what? Say to yourself, what do I want to watch? You know, it's like just say, what do I want to watch? And then if you want to watch something, I mean, hell, there's 7 billion people in the world, a couple billion people on TikTok. Someone is gonna agree with you, and they're gonna want to watch it too. So I mean, yeah, maybe only 100 people are gonna see your video, but maybe those 100 people are this is their favorite video in the world, and that would
Yeah,
mean a lot more than if a bunch of people saw it and just thought, oh, this is okay. And then you have 10 million views of people saying okay, or 10,000 people saying, wow, I love this, right? So it just pick your poison thing. So
yeah.
if you want to watch it and you like that kind of style, that's the biggest advice. People will notice it.
That's good. That's cool to know. All right, I gotta ask you like, how trippy does it feel? How trippy is it that like millions of people like you there? Oh, there you are. Cool.
Yeah.
How trippy is it like millions of people are just watching your stuff all the time and that you are like their favorite like you are my favorite content creator like on TikTok?
Thank you, man.
How
Thank
does
you.
that feel like does ever like do you ever feel like yo I'm the fucking shit right now yo?
It depends, man. I mean, sometimes you're like, wow, this is hype, like, all my boys like it. Like, this is a lot of fun to do. And the other hand, I'm like, wow, but like, why is this guy bigger? And I think I have to get out of my head to like look at people that are way bigger and be like, wow, like their stuff's not as good as mine. Why are they so much bigger than me? So I mean, sometimes like when I do stop and smell the roses, I'm like, what an interesting thing,
Yeah.
But I can't say I ever feel like the absolute shit. But it definitely is fun to know that people are enjoying your stuff. It's just like the weirdest feeling. You're like, wow, people like this. That's sick. Because
That's
half my
awesome.
videos I just make, I'm driving around and people watch them. I'm like, what the hell? That's so sick.
Yeah. Okay. So you went from milk and then you started dropping these super fire freestyles.
Thank you, thank you.
And I'm not gonna lie, I sent those to all my buddies because like according to my friends, I have the worst musical taste of all time
Yeah,
because my favorite rapper is Lil Dicky, and they all
I can't blame you. I don't mind Little Dicky.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, but like so you went from that, and then Noel Miller and I did a duet with that, and that
Yeah,
just made it even more heat. And so just yeah, man.
yeah.
When it comes to TikTok, I feel like you're up there with like you're like top tier. And now,
Thank you, man. And it's tough because like, yeah, there are a lot of people. Oh,
uh,
continue. Sorry, sorry.
no, it's all good.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's a weird thing. Like the freestyle things are pretty cool that people like that because I love music. It's like the best thing. It's my favorite thing in the world. So when people started watching it, I was like, holy shit, nice.
Does this mean we're gonna see? Are you gonna drop an actual album soon?
I don't know, man. It's tough to say. I mean, the music thing, it's music is the passion. It just so happens that it's the thing that I'm the worst at. So it takes a lot of time to really get in there and like do something. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll see one day, man. I mean, my biggest problem is I like to separate everything I do from the other thing. Like the political thing, I like to separate from TikTok. Like the music thing, I want to separate from TikTok. So that way, if one thing grows on its own, I don't feel like I can blame it on another thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I want everything I do to be individual. So I mean, maybe I will. I guess we'll see. Man.
yeah. Like I, I can't. I suck at music. Like I got kicked out of band in ninth grade because I couldn't play the triangle.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen,
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So my teacher was like, "Yeah, just don't come back." Yeah, but like so I got COVID in like November, right? And
man.
so I'm like, I'm bored. Like, there's nothing to do. So before the COVID actually like started like getting bad, because it did get bad for me. But before it got bad, I was like, yo, for in the first 2 days, I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna make a little music video.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Nice.
I made a COVID music video, and like
Nice.
it was bad, but it was like this is actually pretty fun though.
Yeah, it's bad, but you made it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
bad, but yeah, at least you made it. It's better than thinking, oh, this would be bad and not making it than trying it out and saying, wow, this is bad. At least you did it. You know what I mean? And now you know, and it's still fun. Who gives a shit?
Oh yeah, dude, it was so fun. And whenever when any like musical artists I've interviewed, because uh I've interviewed like a couple rappers and like Jay Sean, and I played them my song, and they're like, dude, this is so funny, but it's so bad at the same time. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough thing, but it's like also beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know,
Yeah.
if you think it's good, then who gives a shit? Everybody else does that. You
Yeah.
have to think it's good, or else. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'll send you the thing after this, and you can just tell me
yeah,
how
hit me
bad
up
it
with the
is.
link. Let
Yeah.
me know, man. Maybe I'll bop to it. Who knows?
Yo, if you bob to it, that's like all I need to know. That's all the validation I need in my life.
You never know, man. You never know.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about the political career.
Yeah,
So if you guys didn't know, Max ran for mayor. Am I correct?
that's right.
Of Halifax.
Yeah,
So how old are you?
I'm 23 now, but I was 22 when I ran.
All right. So, all right, cool. So you're maybe a year or two older than me because I'm 21.
Yeah.
So, damn, running for mayor at 22. How? Why? How did it go? All right, yeah, just tell us the story.
Well, initially I wanted to. I was watching all the interviews saying people really need to get out and vote, and I was like, well, I wonder what the voting numbers are like for Halifax. So I looked it up in the last election. Bro, it was like minuscule. Like nobody voted in the last election. I was like, oh, maybe if I run, I can get the vote up because people would, young people my age would want to vote. Number one, and number two, more older people would vote, so I don't win. So I was like, let's do that. So that's how it started, right? It started as a whole campaign to get people to vote. The problem was out of nowhere, the media kind of took with it, and they're like, "Oh, TikTok star," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm just a like, don't say like automatically that makes it hard." You know what I mean? If everyone thinks I'm a TikTok star or from here, that makes it so much harder.
Yeah, because TikTok gets a
But then I
bad rep,
thought,
right?
yeah, it gets a bad rep. But not just that, it's like when that happened, I thought it was bad at first, but then I'm like, wait a second. All this means is that I could literally go to a debate, and if I wear a clean pair of pants, I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? Like people are getting people. Nobody expects anything because I do TikTok. So no matter what I do, people are gonna think it's impressive, and that was amazing, which made it way easier, right? But I ran to get the vote up. That was the whole goal. Halfway through, I was like, wait a second. There's a lot of things going on in local politics that are like, how is this happening? So then I started to lean into that side of things like, okay, vote. I don't care who you vote for. But by the way, like, this is what's happening in Halifax. So make your decision. So next time I run, which I probably will run again, I'll actually focus more on the issues and being like, listen, we need to change these things. But this time around, I was doing my best to kind of just tell people to vote. You know what I mean? And like obviously highlight some issues, but yeah, next time I run, I really want to get into it because you learn a lot, man. You know, it's just like it's literally like a poli sci degree summed up in a month and a half. It's insane how much you learn.
So you're saying that instead of me going to university for 4 years doing poli sci, which I am doing poli sci, so I should just run from
Yeah.
there and just learn
Well,
everything.
I'll tell you, man. Honestly, run. Like, see how it goes. I would say absolutely do it. And I want to tell everybody, every young person, it was me and two other people running for mayor of Halifax. I can't believe it. Why weren't more people running? But anyway, only three people ran, which made it, more media attention and everything. But I want to tell every single person just to run. Like, if you have an issue to talk about, just run. Nobody can stop you from doing it. That's what I kept realizing the whole time. When I realized there's no real requirement besides being 18, I'm like, why aren't more people running? A lot of these people have online opinions about Twitter. They got online opinions. They post around on Instagram and Facebook about all these social issues, but they don't do anything about it. Like,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to do something about it because your city is literally opening up and saying, hey, you can actually have a political job. You can do something in office and you can make change, but nobody ever does. So now, like me running was my way of saying, now you can. Like, no, if I can do it and I'm an idiot, you can absolutely do it.
So did you have any
You know what I
political
mean?
background beforehand, like poli sci or anything like that, before you like decided to run?
No, No, honestly, not at all. I mean, I really didn't know that much about politics going in. Like, obviously, I was like informed on the issues and everything, but I
Yeah.
didn't really know how, like the voting process would work in terms of like what kind of what the debates would be like. I didn't know anything about what kind of like certain requirements that you have to have, like when it comes to voting, like how far in advance you can tell people to vote, blah blah blah, and you learn all about that in like a month and a half, and you need to know. So like I just sit in my room all the time. Like that's when during that month, like I barely did anything on TikTok because I just had no time to do it, right?
Yeah.
And it was yeah, it's scary. I didn't really know that much about politics. It's insane, man. I'd encourage you to do it.
Oh, I like I'm thinking like maybe one day I'll just run for like office or something, just because like it just seems super interesting and I do have lots of ideas to,
Yeah.
like make a difference. What's the one thing that like you learned that will stick with you forever?
Uh, I think that it's an interesting thing. I met a lot of characters and I got a lot of advice. But the one thing I learned is you once you get in the heat of politics, you learn the difference between what a politician is like and what they pretend to be like, right? And I'm not saying like the people I ran against were fake at all. I don't mean that at all. I'm just saying, you see a lot of people get a bad rep about their politics, then you meet them in person. They're the nicest person in the world. And you're saying, why does this guy made one decision, he voted on one bad thing, and everybody hates him? Or this guy seems like he's so loved and everybody loves him, but I talk to him and he's like disrespecting me like crazy. You know what I mean? So you learn about the most valuable thing I learned is there's always in politics, there's so people trying to be we can only name like three in the world that are just genuine in politics. And it's hard, man. Like things need to change. More people need to run so that kind of gets fucking cleared out?
Yeah. Honestly, that was actually like that was the most informative thing I've heard in such a long time from any guest I've ever had on the show.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too because like 'cause you're close to my age too, so it's like we're not that far apart too, so like that's actually cool. Okay, yeah, so like so again like you were saying like you got a lot of people talking shit like because like you were like the TikTok kid running for
Yeah.
mayor.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff was that like? What were the like I remember I think I remember something like it was some Calgary website or something was saying, "Yo, some 22-year-old in Halifax is running for mayor." I'm like I'm like that's Max. What? Because that's how
Yeah.
I found out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then
Online?
yeah, I saw it online somewhere. It was some Calgary
Oh.
website, and I'm like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
and at that time like I had you added on Snapchat. Then I'm like, I messaged him like, Max, what? You're
Yeah.
mayor?
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, man. The media attention was so I didn't expect it at all. I thought I'd have to like put out a press release and like really try hard to get like media attention to get the message out to vote. But literally within 12 hours of me like submitting my name into the mayor, somehow the media found out before I could even announce it. And I started getting a bunch of calls from news stations in Halifax, and I was like, "How did you know? Like, how did anybody know?" But the problem with that too is before I could announce it and tell people what my campaign was about, the second people in Halifax found out, I was getting, and I'm talking people I've known growing up for most of my life. I see a lot of these people just shitting on me and telling me like how terrible of a person I am. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't even say anything, right? And this one person I know, uh, she she made an Instagram post and she was talking just this was keep in mind this is 12 hours after I announced after like the news announced my campaign. 12 hours. She made an Instagram post saying it's not gone unnoticed that Max hasn't commented on all these social issues. And she lists like 10 social issues. And I'm thinking, first of all, it's definitely gone unnoticed because I didn't even say it. Like, I've just got here. Give me at least 2 days to say something, right? Like, what are you doing? And I couldn't believe it. Like, I messaged her and I was like, why would you do this? Like now everybody, what is wrong with you? Like I ask me. The biggest thing about my campaign too is the hardest lesson I learned is people don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to each other about what they think you think.
Yeah.
But no one's going to reach out to you and say, "What do you think?" Instead, they're like, "This is probably what he thinks. Let's talk about it and shit on it." No, no, no. Just ask me. And I replied to everybody during the campaign of mayor. And like I told them what I thought about everything. But scary, man. What a whirlwind of an experience.
But do you have any regrets?
Uh, no, I don't think I have any regrets. No, I think it's a. If I could go back and do it again, I'm probably a lot more confident now in like in debates than I did with the other two candidates. Like they were experienced politicians. There'd be questions asked about like construction workers being paid a living wage, and one person answered, and he somehow, excuse me, he was the first one to vote for like rights of a certain group, and I'm like, okay, buddy, we're talking about construction. So if I could go back now, I'd be like, stop the bullshit, stop diverting, talk about the issue right now, and then move on to your next thing. Stop throwing all this information just to trick people. If I could go back, I would call people out. That's the one regret.
Damn. I look like because like I have a couple friends that live in Halifax because they go to Dalhousie and stuff. It's
Yeah,
Dalhousie, right? Is Dal?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they and I asked them like, "Yo, what's the media saying about this guy running?" And like the media, he's doing the same thing. The media was kind of like talking shit and like and he's like, yeah, even like the politicians that he's running against are like but they also said that you were the realest person out there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, nice.
Yeah, I was it's hard. Like I was trying to be real, but I think young people I respect the real, but a lot of these people who are very seasoned in the idea of voting, they just like to see what they see over and over again, right? But that's not how change happens. If you keep voting the same people in who have the same personalities, who all look the same, you're not gonna like nothing is ever gonna happen. Like you have to have somewhat of a chance to say, I'm gonna take a chance on this. But yeah, like there, no one is really that real. I will say this though, that one of the guys I was running against named Matt, he was. I mean, obviously, me and him disagree like on most of our politics, like the majority. But as a person, the guy is so real. The guy was like the nicest guy I ever met in my life, and I think that's a lot of the reason why people don't see that side, and that's why they hate him so much. To be fair, his opinions are. He has some strange political opinions, but as a person, couldn't have been kinder. And you meet people like that through politics. I'm just grateful that I could meet, a bunch of people throughout politics.
That's dope. So damn, I actually might run then. Might run
I'm
after
telling
I
you, man.
after I graduate. I actually might run.
I'll tell you what. If you run, I will help you with your campaign. I will do everything I can to make sure people notice that you're running and they vote. I promise you.
Sounds good, man.
I got you, brother.
All right. You said you want to talk about the charity work you were doing.
Yeah, a little bit. Pretty soon. I just want people to keep their eyes open because I have a campaign coming out, and it's for a charity thing. I'm going to be selling some T-shirts, and I'm not going to give too much information away right now until the T-shirts out. But just keep your eye open. And I'll be completely honest. At first glance, you're going to probably say, "What is this? And what is happening here?" Because it's completely ridiculous. But just keep your eye open for the when I put a big video out, and you'll notice what it is. They'll know what it is. But it's some charity work is coming up soon, so hopefully that makes some waves. But I'll tell you after. It's like a big surprise that I want people to find out about.
Yeah, and as when you post it, I'll promote it on my stories as well,
I
and
appreciate it, man.
I like the word out for that.
My
And
man.
and that's it for today's interview with Mr. Max Taylor. Thank you so much for watching BrarHive. Remember, guys, that run for mayor is apparently very fun. And as always, BrarHive, remember to stay hydrated.
Wear a condom.
Woo! And we will see you next time. Peace.